Bonjour, guten tag, ciao. Welcome, members of the Wonderverse. I'm Hannah.
And I'm producer Nick.
And you're listening to Into the Wonderverse, your one and only source into all things Scarlet Witch and friends.
Is that the
I'm
new
pretty sure.
intro?
Well, I think that we have so many listeners from all over the world, and they're so sweet. They come into my inbox and just tell me where they're listening from, and I try on my story to say hi in all their languages, like salut, guten tag, ciao, hola. And
You're
so
sticking to very European languages. I need you to start branching out to,
ni hao.
Asia or Africa.
Um, I can't remember. It's ni hao and I'm struggling. I was on a roll there, and
For
you
next week. For next week. We can do it for next week.
yeah. Привет.
Well done.
Thank you. That's still European though. But anyway, I'll try and learn as many hellos as I can, and then we'll go from there. How about that?
I look forward to hearing them.
Yeah, because I know that like Dutch is just hello, which is not that like hello, but like we have some Dutch listeners actually.
Hello to everybody in the Netherlands.
Yeah. And congrats on Max's victory.
All right, that's
Um,
that's one Formula. You're only allowed one F1 reference per episode. That's it.
damn, I've used up really early now.
You did.
Well, I didn't know that before.
Well, we're not doing an F1 podcast. We do a podcast about the one and only Scarlet Witch and
We are.
friends.
And it's been like a crazy week for news. Like, we have had so many merch announcements this week. There's a new Wanda Tsum Tsum that Disney dropped with like no fanfare. There's a brand new set of mystery Tsum Tsums. You can get them. They're currently debuting at Walmart, but I've looked online and I think it'll be more widespread. There's not even a product listing for this yet, but the lovely Lena found them and took some amazing pictures of them. So like go and check out the pictures with her. It's a little Wanda and it comes with a dark hold. Sainsbury's usually get Tsum Tsums in the UK. So hopefully we'll see them come to Sainsbury's at some point. We also got brand new merch in her universe. There's a gorgeous sweatshirt. Some people have struggled to find it when they're on the website. So what you need to do is type in Marvel Comics and it will come up because I don't know why it doesn't come up on the first page when you search Scarlet Witch, but a lot of people are like, oh, where is it? But it is there. You just have to do a little bit of digging. We also have brand new Scarlet Witch wrapping paper in Siemens, which is a European like supermarket type thing. They had the Scarlet Witch socks last year. I really wanted a pair, but I never got them. We also got the news that House of Harkness, literally I've stand this for so long.
Yes, you have. I
I've
have not stopped hearing about it.
been the biggest advocate for House of Harkness. It's getting a graphic novel release next year. So hopefully this is a step in the right direction because Scholastic are publishing it. So if this is popular, then we will see maybe more volumes of this. And this is how they tested like Miles Morales and Gwen before they did Spidey and his incredible friends. So like guys, like support, 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 because that is how we get maybe an animated series or more merch. Then Marvel Zombies have dropped their first piece of Scarlet Witch merch, which is a soda. It's only available in America, but Wanda has her very own soda flavor, which is low-key kind of crazy. And on the topic of Marvel Zombies, be so careful, guys, because there are so many spoilers out there right now. I have been spoiled to the high heavens. And if you're one of the people that commented spoilers on my videos, just know I hope you step on Lego.
That's a fate worse than death.
Literally, though, people were just posting the entire plot of the series in my comics and comments, and I was like, hello?
Yeah, I hope they step on an upturned plug in the dark.
And like, I honestly, if the leaks aren't real, honestly, kind of good because I've literally somebody posted the entire summary in my comments. Like, they went down.
Yeah,
I
I've seen
deleted
stuff
them.
on I've seen stuff on Twitter where people are saying like multiple different endings and stuff. So honestly, I just think it's just trolling at this point because it's literally not out until Wednesday, and I don't think it's gone out to the press. So
There's definitely been some credible, like, there's some credible-ish leaks. I'm not talking about any of them because it comes out on Wednesday.
yeah,
Our
we're
whole
literally talking about it next week.
next week we're dedicating a whole episode, you know? So we're not like do not come to my town until after it's dropped. I'm also not going to bother talking about the teasers because, like, again, it comes out Wednesday. Watch the show when it comes out. Disney have said if it does well, it'll get a second season. So do what you need to do, y'all.
Yes.
Then obviously Scarlet Witch 5 releases this week,
Yes.
which is our last, and then she's also obviously been confirmed for the new Sorcerer Supreme run, which is being written by Steve Orlando, and
Has it been confirmed?
it's been confirmed that it's been being written by Steve
Yes
Orlando.
or no, but it hasn't. This is what I was going to bring up with comic book news. Has it actually been confirmed, or is it a case of adding two and two because Steve Orlando
Oh
and
no, no,
Kevin Smith?
she's in the running. It hasn't been
Yeah.
confirmed that she's going to be the Sorcerer Supreme, but I think that there's a good chance that she is now that we know that the entire creative team from Scarlet Witch has gone over to um the Sorcerer Supreme fight. It feels inevitable.
So the release date for this is the 31st of December,
Yep.
2025.
And again, I am kind of fine either way if she is or is not. I think that she is one of the most qualified people in the group to do it. But obviously, may the best man win, or woman,
Yeah.
or entity.
I mean, Steve Orlando is writing the final issue of One World Under Doom as well, which is apparently where it will be revealed who the new Sorcerer Supreme will be. Um,
Interesting.
which is again this is all just hearsay and what have you, but judging from the description, like the synopsis for that last issue, it literally the last sentence is, if the Sorcerer Supreme falls, who will rise to take his place? Find out here.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll just have to see what happens, I guess, and like be very on top of all that.
I'm gonna have to read that run now, haven't I?
I've kept up with it kind of on and off. I've not been like entirely invested, but I've also not been invested. I think that I just find big events difficult because I think that they really struggle to give individual characters a chance to shine. Just That's just how I personally feel.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see. And you're gonna, while we're on the subject of comics, you're gonna give us a quick update on Ultimate 16, aren't you?
Yeah, so Almost 16 was actually I think it was a really, really good issue. Again, like for relevancy for the podcast, no wonder. But it takes a different approach to revealing the world of the Ultimates and revealing the kind of like the general kind of cost of the public that's involved with this. So in this particular issue, there is a character called Ren Montgomery who is new, a completely new character. This teenage girl whose sixth grade teacher, Mrs. Walters, gets like taken away by hand agents, and then like her best friend disappears after her she grows gills on her torso. So she becomes more and more like radicalized, based on the fact that the Ultimates are becoming more of a thing. Then because of Iron Lad's social media network, there's like more of an uprising, more of a resistance. And then hand agents kind of come along to arrest her. They kill her parents, and she runs away. And she's in the underground now. Um, and it ends with basically 2 months remain before the city opens. So this is 2 months remain until, um, yeah, the Maker comes back out of his comes back out. So it is kind of setting. It is this kind of weird thing where it's mirroring reality a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that we are needing this kind of connection. We are needing this empathy. We are needing sense of like fighting against the wrongs that are out there. Um, so yeah, it is a really, really good issue. Um, Again, it's not focusing on any of the big characters. There's no Doom, there's no Iron Lad, Captain America, none of them. It's just what's kind of going on. Maybe it is my favorite issue so far. I think because it just takes this different tact, which is quite a bold move, really,
Okay.
for a comic like this. So yeah, keep it up. And Ultimate Spider-Man is still kicking ass. Just
I'm
want to
glad
say
that
that.
you're enjoying it and that you're having a good time.
I'm
We
having a great time.
we love that for you. We respect you.
I'm looking forward to see what happens to this universe's Bucky. That's the one
Stop.
thread,
Do not.
the
Don't
one
bring this
thread,
up. Don't bring that up to me.
the one
If
thread that I want to see more of.
you know how I feel, why would you say that?
Yeah, sorry. I no genuinely though, it's like him, John Walker, and the Punisher. That kind of thread that's hanging around. I'm genuinely interested. So we'll see.
Well, you can keep being our eyes and ears. Obviously we'll be seeing Wanda for the like I think this is the first time on the podcast we've had live Wanda. It is the live Wanda content to discuss because we weren't doing the podcast when she was in What If season.
Nope.
No, we weren't. So this is our first time having new Wanda content. How are you feeling?
I think it's good. Yeah, no, it's really good to kind of focus in on like I said, the comics and the animated show, and potentially the movies, and TV shows, um, and kind of have this focus a little bit rather than kind of waywardly following it, as it were. So,
Yeah. So we're really excited. Yes, next week we are all guns a blazing with Marvel Zombies because she's the main villain, girls. Get
so
your
yeah, that
purses.
that means that next week is, yeah, like Hannah says, Marvel Zombies, and the week after that will be the second half of Avengers United We Stand. So don't worry, you will get your Avengers United We Stand finished up. We're just going to do that after talking about Marvel Zombies
As
because
you guys will not wait. The way people have
yeah,
always been asking me for a review and it's not out yet.
yeah, and the algorithm demands it. We got to bow down to the algorithm.
We bow to the algorithm. But this week we bow down to our very first Wanda to grace the show. The incredible Stavroula gave us the an interview that, like, again, every time I talk about this interview, I like smile and blushing. Like, this was so special to me, and really, like, this interview means the world to me. This is our first Wanda, so you guys better give her the most love in the world ever because she's everything to me. So without further ado, I'll let you listen to that interview. So, very excitingly today we have our, as promised, our very first Wanda to grace the one. Welcome to the Wandaverse, Stravola, who played Wanda in the Avengers United They Stand series from 1999. Um, Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I'm looking forward to this.
So, I guess I want to start asking, what was the process of booking this the role of the Scarlet Witch like for you? Had you heard of her before you started, or how did the opportunity come for you? I know you had done some voice acting beforehand, maybe, or was this your first go?
No, I had done voice acting before, but this was my first time doing it for animation. Usually I was asked to do either radio ads or voiceover documentaries because I do accents. So I was asked for various Mediterranean, Middle Eastern accents at the time. And then it's a very interesting story and one that became a little bit of a legend and a history. Um, well, yeah, create a little bit of history. They were the Marvel people came up from LA looking for Wanda and all the other characters in the series, and the director couldn't find the quality that he wanted. For whatever reason, they auditioned a lot of women for it, various ages, and he wasn't really happy with the quality of Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
So the casting director, who I had actually gone to school with, to theater school with, called up my agent and said, "Look, I know she does accents. I need her to walk in and pretend that she's straight off the boat. We're looking for authenticity. I need her to
Hmm.
just forget that she speaks English very well and just come in. So I went in there and I was so off the boat, straight off the boat, that the poor man was like, "Oh my God, do you understand English?" And I said, "Yes, yes, and no problem." And in the audition, I even said, in the accent, I said, am I pronouncing this correctly? And he's like, "Yeah, well, no, let's try it this way." Anyway, um, I I booked it. My agent called me and said, "You booked it. Now here's the problem. You have to have that accent the moment you walk into the studio.
Uh-huh.
You have to keep that accent going until the end of the gig. The casting directors asked that you do that." And I said to my agent, "Oh my God, but I'm working with people who actually know me. They know I don't have this accent." And she said, "Well, method acting, all right? We'll say it's method acting." So I did. I walked in and I had the accent, and I hadn't heard of the Avengers series,
Hmm.
the comic version. I didn't grow up on comics. I grew up on Bugs Bunny. My brother grew up on comics, but I didn't know the story of Wanda. But when I read the script and I then started researching the series, the comic strip, I just I fell in love with her. I thought she was such a beautiful, powerful, kind, um, saucy. Just I loved who she was as a character. So in the beginning, I played her really heavily,
Hmm.
and then the team from LA wrote back and said, "Could we have her younger? She's a little too old for this." And I was only in my what was I, late 20s, early, no, it was in my early 30s, I think, when I got the gig. So they said, she sounds like she's 50 years old or even 60. We need to tone it down a bit. So we had to make her a little softer. But in making her softer, we also found that gentle sensitivity in her as well. So I really enjoyed it. Now I loved the gig, but I do remember after the first session, the first episode we did, I worked with people who I'd known for years in the business, and they all looked at me like, "What is going on with you? Like, what's with this accent? Like, we know you don't have this accent." So, but they played along. No one asked me anything. They probably chalked it up to, well, it's her process. And then on the uh, the closing, well, not closing night is theater, the closing party, the what do you call it?
The
The
rap.
wrap, the wrap. Thank you. Um, the they all gave us this original print of our character that they
Wow.
did, that the artist did, and it was just so, it made me very emotional. I thought it was beautiful. And the casting director went up to the director and basically said, "We have something we need to tell you, and Stavroula would like to say it in the best possible, voice that she can." So I dropped the accent, and he looked at me, and there was a flicker in his eyes of, "I can't believe you did this." But he was such a gentleman, and he said, "I knew that." He said, I knew that wasn't your accent." And I said, "How did you know?" And he said, "Just trust me. I knew." So we left it at that. And he was a great sport. And so when I started going back to doing other auditions, and there were some of the actors there, and they heard my name, they said, "Oh, are you the one who did this?" So it was one of those stories that kept following me. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, that's you had to go full method for Wanda.
Yes,
The pretty.
exactly. And it was because this was filmed. This was recorded in Toronto. So, the pool of actors, we all worked together. We all, went to the same auditions.
Mhm.
So it was interesting to see their reaction. But I was really impressed that no one said, "What's with the accent, girl?" So yeah, there was, so that's how
Because
professional.
you were born in Greece, weren't
Yes.
I wanted to for our listeners to know you were born in Greece in Athens, I believe, and you live in Greece now, or you were living in Qatar for a little bit, but Greece now?
Yes, yes. Well, what happened was in 2004, I was approached by the Canadian national broadcaster, our national broadcaster, CBC, and I was approached to do a 24 episode series on Greece during the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't want me to be just a host. They wanted me to also research and write, which was great because I was moving more into that area anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to Greece, and the show was a big success. The executive producer, Yetta, was just incredible, and it was the highest rated because well, it was also the Olympic Games in Greece, so of course more people are going to watch it. And from that, I got an opportunity to work for the national broadcaster here in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2005 or 2006, I left Canada for this gig that I got here. And then I just didn't want to go back. I found I really loved being behind the camera more than in front of the camera. And I still did voiceover work, I still did my acting, but I really loved directing and producing. And then from that, my husband joined me, and he got a job in Qatar with Al Jazeera.
Mm-hmm.
And so we moved to Qatar, and then I got a job with Al Jazeera programs, and I started producing content for them. And then from there, he was called into Turkey to help start up a new English speaking news channel with programs. So we both got work there. And then from Istanbul, we came to Athens. And then Dan returned to Al Jazeera, and I decided to do my own work. And I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now.
Well,
So
I mentioned it because we're lucky enough to have so many European listeners, and me and Nick are both, we live in Scotland, and I think it's always really good for people. I know so much of the creative business can feel very American, and of course we love our American listeners, but I always want our listeners to know that no matter where you are, there is a creative industry, and we actually have a lot of listeners in Turkey, so it's really interesting that you've worked there, and I just think that it's always so nice for them to hear that there are opportunities all over the world and for all cultures to be represented. And I just really wanted to highlight that for our listeners because I get a lot of questions about making content here in the UK, and I think that they would want to know about that, all over the world as well.
that's brilliant. Hannah, that's really, really brilliant because I think we are a very global industry. We have to be. The stories now are so intertwined. We can work anywhere. We really can. Great ideas know no boundaries, and they know no borders, and they don't. And great ideas and creatives know no limits to reaching out and collaborating with other people and doing universal work. And um, I think that's great what you're doing. And yeah, there's a lot of talent in Europe, and a lot of it I'm bumping into people from Canada or from the States or from Australia, even from the UK. But we have quite a collection of creatives here in Athens that because of the cheaper rent and for some people it reminds them of Berlin. When the wall first came down, other people it reminds them of New York in the 70s. And so there's a real vibe here and a lot of creatives. So I feel really, really lucky, first of all, to be here. And secondly, that I'm actually Greek and I can work here in both languages. So yeah.
Absolutely. And so obviously just moving back to the show because I want to make
Yeah.
sure that I give cover all topics. Did you have a favorite storyline? I know the show didn't it was only 13 episodes, but did you have a favorite Wanda storyline that you got to explore while you were on the show?
For me, each episode, because that's the kind of actor I am. For me, every episode was interesting, and we explored for all angles of it. And sometimes I had, I didn't, I wasn't featured, but I was, I was always in all the
Mhm.
episodes. But for me, it was interesting working on the show from the perspective of watching everyone do their work and how they did the work and how the writers wrote and how they were open to us rewriting things that, we felt, well, this is a little more of how I think, Scarlet Witch would say this or why she would say it. So I can't say I have one favorite episode. For me, the whole series was a wonderful experience because I worked with some of the best voice actors in Canada,
Mhm.
like the best, who are also brought up from LA. They work in both countries, but a lot of them are based in LA.
Mhm.
Extraordinary people who I learned a lot from because this was my first voice acting gig as a character rather than, selling a product or, telling a story of a narrating a story. So, and the director was awesome. Absolutely a wonderful human being. very supportive, allowed us to play. And I loved watching the other actors create their characters and how they interacted. Yeah, it was just, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really have one
It's
specific.
a, it's okay. Have you kept up with so Agatha Harkness, who's now become quite significant, currently made her comic date not comic her on-screen debut as your mentor in
Yes.
Avengers United They Stand. Have you kept up with any of the Marvel like with Wanda and with Agatha since, or does this kind of live as this like wonderful moment that was just something that you did, or do you keep up with Wanda at all?
No, it was one of those wonderful moments that you put in your journal and you say this was great, and you just you savor it. I haven't kept up with it. I tend to move on from projects and uh, either find other creators to work with or create my own projects. So no, unfortunately, I haven't. But um, I did like the live action one. I really did. I thought that was very well done,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed watching it. So yeah.
Have you ever seen, I don't know, recently for Wanda, there was they drew Russell Dortman, who's the current he draws all the comics for like covers for Wanda at the moment. He drew your Wanda as a part of all of the different Wandas that have ever existed. Did you see that at
No.
all?
Oh God, no! I'd love to see it.
I'll email it to you, and the lovely Lily who does our podcast artwork, you can probably see her picture as our icon now. She's gonna draw your Wanda being interviewed for uh when we put this interview out. Your Wanda will be the cover for
Oh wow!
so
I
that
love the one I'm seeing right now.
yes,
The Wanda. She's yeah, she's power. I love that. Yeah.
because
No, unfortunately, I haven't seen it.
well, I'll make sure I send it to you so you can see it because Russell did such a beautiful job of bringing Avengers United They Stand Wanda back. Which brings me on to had you seen the costume design when you were recording her, or did you not get to see her until after you'd done the voice? And what did you think of your costume?
Oh, we saw the costumes. We were definitely given the drawings, shown the drawings, so we knew visually who we were playing. And I loved her. I thought she was cool. I still think she's cool. I think for me, she's one of uh, she was, she is, but for me, she was so, she was magical. And she came to me at the point in my life where I needed a little magic in my life. So I had just lost my dad, and I needed something that was going to be um I needed
A
her.
little
I
bit of
needed
escape, some fantasy, maybe.
yeah, absolutely, Hannah, absolutely. And she was fun and she was magical and she was mystical, and she came at the right time. And
I
yeah.
also think your Wanda is very what I've always loved about Wanda's character in general, and I think from what you said about the comics, is that she's not just powerful. I think sometimes women in media can be, if they're powerful, they tend to be quite sterile, whereas Wanda's really caring. And in this show, it very much explores her identity in romantic relationships, and she's a very I think empathetic force, and I think that it's wonderful that she's able to, winds of destiny change. I feel like if we don't say it, it's not going to be the episode. But I think that also she has this like empathy, which is a massive trait of hers, and I think that's wonderful in a female character.
I totally agree with you. She is three-dimensional. She's not just a superhero with no feelings, with no empathy, with no compassion. And that's what I loved when we did change the voice and made it softer,
Hmm.
younger. I was able to tap into that compassion and empathy that she felt. And also the romantic involvement then was easier to deal with, because when we first approached her, she was just a badass. I played her as someone who's do not mess with me. I have no time for you superhero. But and then I loved that, but when they changed it, and obviously they knew what they were doing, I just thought, yeah, I loved that we were able to tap into her empathy and make her more round, more full.
And I've always been disappointed because you're the only one that didn't get an action figure.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
Did
know.
they ever explain why? Was there ever one planned? Because like literally I've scoured the internet because sometimes you can find like concept artwork of the
Yeah.
you know why you didn't get an action figure?
No, no idea. No,
No
no, that's a
need.
very good question. I'll have to get my agent on that.
Yeah, Fox explain. Because I keep hoping they're gonna make one, because they've been doing a lot of her older look. So because I think your look is so unique, and some people got two.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you said that because I thought she was spectacular. She was beautiful. She was strong. She was mystical. There was a mystery about her. She was a well-balanced version of Scarlet Witch.
Hmm.
And that's interesting that they never made one. I don't know. They never said anything. Most of the time you don't have any power
Hmm.
over the execs and you know, they don't have to explain anything to us. We got paid. That's it. Bye-bye.
I think they
So,
should give you a talking action figure. I think they should get you to re-record the Winds of Destiny change, and when you like click her tummy, it should say Winds of Destiny change.
oh, that would be so cool, Hannah. That would be so cool. Anybody out there listening, get the word out.
All right, that's
That'd
our
be so
pitch.
cool.
Mattel or Hasbro, if you're listening, can we please do that one? Wait, to be fair though, I did like we had a whole campaign for a different one to figure. It sounds like we're gonna get her, so maybe we can start a new one to get a
That,
Winds of Destiny change figure.
that would be so cool. That would be so cool.
Do you ever get people? Like, do you ever get? I don't imagine that you do because it's voice acting. But has anyone ever come up to you in the street and asked you to do Winds of Destiny change? Do you ever get that?
Uh, no, no, never. Other than family who know me, like nephews and nieces who watch it now and realize, oh, that's my Thea. Okay, Thea means my aunt.
Hmm.
Um, no, my husband does. He asks me once in a while, or I'll just do it because I feel like it. But it's interesting that you contacted me at this point in my life because she's been coming up a lot. My cousins have brought her up. People are sending me pictures or saying, "Hey, I just saw the original in English and I didn't realize it was you until I saw the credits. Like, why didn't you tell? Like, this was great. Why didn't you guys do more?" And I said, "I don't know. We just did the series that we did and then it was stopped." But yeah, I just love the energy of that character and the way she was written.
Hmm.
Um, and I thank you for bringing her back to me because I kind of put her aside and didn't think of her again. And since you contacted me, I've been feeling her and thinking about her. And sometimes I think certain characters stay with you, and others they remind you that, hey, I was part of your life. You did give me life. Don't forget me. So thank you for that.
It's no problem. I literally, when I kind of rediscovered. I had loved Wonder as a tween, I guess, when she was on a show called X-Men and the Wolverine, and then over lockdown, I had uh fallen in love with WandaVision, and I was like, you know what? I used to love the Scarlet Witch, and I went back and I watched all the cartoons again, and I thought about how I wished that I'd seen this as a child because I thought,
Mm,
I was a 90s kid. I was a little bit young because I would have only been 4 when the show came out, but I feel like this version of female character was what was really missing for me. And I still feel we say a lot on this podcast that when you go down a toy aisle still to this day, there is no superheroes in the girls section.
yes.
And I think that Wanda is such a good because I don't know if you've ever like Winx Club, or I think she crosses the line between superheroes and also like magic in a very kind of feminine way that I think is really appealing to young girls. And I again, I just think that they should have capitalized on her. And I was so glad that she got to be in the show. And I mean, I know that I would have been engrossed as a kid. I would have been like so into her decision between the complicated decision between Wonder Man and Vision would have really inspired me as a
Hmm.
child, I think.
Oh yeah. I love what you just said. I never thought of it that way. So that's interesting. To see her as a superhero who is not like the superheroes of the male world, but and not a female superhero basically in feminine form, but a real superhero from the feminine, a complete feminine perspective. I never thought of it that way. That's interesting. Great
Especially
observation.
especially because her mentor is Agatha, and like obviously in the MCU they've gone for a younger Agatha, but I think the fact that Agatha is an older woman
Yes.
and witchcraft, and I think that
Yes.
that uniquely kind of like the reclamation of the witch, I think is such a an interesting concept, especially with Agatha being this kind of old timey, what we would call, well, we discussed it, but in the more current recent series, but like the mother maiden crone stereotype, Agatha being the crone, but being like a badass crone, I think is a really fun concept for young women to.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I love that they came back with this idea of having Agatha and having her own show in that way. Yeah, because I mean I'm very much into the triple goddess. I really, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So you're bringing back so many memories now, but you're also opening up this corridor from where I am now and what I know now, where my life has taken me now as a woman, to the character I played and who she was and how significant that character was in my life that I haven't thought about in years. And you're bang on about that. I think it is an empowering character for young women to see and to discuss, and the concept of, witches, and which were basically just I call them earth women, women of the earth, um, yeah, of the earth. Um, yeah, thank you. That's wow, you've opened up some corridors there. Hmm.
You can tell I spend a lot of time talking about this.
Yeah, I love that you are, and I love what you're thinking and the way you're approaching it too.
I honestly I was rewatching some of the episodes before I came on the interview. I literally made Nick watch the opening credits before we start this because we're about to do a rewatch for the podcast, and I think that it's, there were so many great animated TV shows in the 90s. We also watched a history episode about the production of this show for this, where we found out that it ended because basically there was a lot of rights issues over the characters that were involved. It's why Captain America and isn't a major character. But the series ended on a cliffhanger, and we had read that Wanda was supposed to have a pretty significant role in season 2. Had you been spoken to about her potential storylines at all, or was that just kind of a writer's room thing and they hadn't yet approached you guys about where the show would go next?
They didn't give us details, but they told us that I was told that there would be more in-depth uh her storyline would be deeper than what we had gone. But what we had dis,
Explored.
thank you, explored in the first season. So, but nothing more than that. There were no details given to us, but we were told that prepare for going deeper into the storyline of these characters, and especially with Wanda. And I was looking forward to it. But then we didn't hear anything, and I didn't even know that there was an issue with the rights because we did so well. People really, really liked this version of it. And the director and the producers were happy with it. They were happy with the actors, um, and then it just, yeah, just disappeared. But I had no idea that that's the reason why. Hmm.
It was, yeah, that's what we've read. We're gonna try and maybe reach out to some of the writers to hopefully have a conversation, because I just think that people should appreciate the show more in general for what it is. And I have some of the tie-in comics as well, which are, there's some beautiful cover art of your Wanda. I don't know if you've ever seen them. Uh
I have actually. I have. I've seen well, I've seen it on the internet. I haven't like seen it physically in a comic book or anything like that. But I have seen some of the artwork of beyond my character. I haven't seen my actual character on anything. But other
yeah,
versions of it I have, yeah.
it's a shame there was so little merch made for the show, because I collect. I have a over 700 Wanda items, and I don't have, other than the comics, there's very little Avengers United They Stand merch to get hold of, and almost nothing. There's a poster that I'm watching on eBay, and that's about it, unfortunately. Which is,
Oh,
but yeah, it's
that's
hopefully maybe they would, now that we're all rediscovering the MCU, they'll bring us something.
maybe, maybe you're helping bring this particular series of characters back to life, and especially this character. I don't know if they realized how magical and amazing this character was. And I'm not saying that I'm not talking about myself playing this, but the actual character and how they designed her and how they wrote her and how they were starting to build her. Um,
Yeah,
very, very
her
magical.
performance was very magical and beautiful. And I get people in my comments all the time just quoting like Winds of Destiny Change. I think you could probably make money off doing a ringtone or something. Because every time I mention it, the comments are full of Winds of Destiny Change.
Oh, I just love that. That was my favorite. I just loved saying that. It was so much fun.
So
Now
was
you
that
bring
in
back.
the script or was that a you? How did we know we are gonna have a catchphrase? Because you're the only one who has a catchphrase.
Yes. No, there was that was written into the script, and it was written Winds of Destiny Change, and then they changed that, or they
Mm-hmm.
changed it to that Winds of Destiny Change. Yeah, they had something else, but then they changed it to that, and that was the director,
Mm-hmm.
because he was a director who I assume also wrote, or
Mm-hmm.
he was involved with the writing, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but he certainly knew the script very, very well and the characters. And he said, I don't like that for you. Let's change it. And I think that's what we changed it into, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think it works, and we're gonna do when we're watching it, we're gonna count how many times you get to say it. That's one of the counters we're gonna have. We're gonna have a Winds of Destiny count because I think that it's very important to.
Well, let me know. Please send me a message letting me know. And who knows, maybe with what you're doing, which I thank you very much. Maybe they'll bring that particular series back with those characters. I mean, if we can all get together. That would be such a cool thing to be able to do after all these years, 20 years later, to,
Maybe we
come
can
back and do a version of it.
put together some sort. Maybe we should reach out to the others and see if we can get you a mini reunion of
Oh
the.
my God, wouldn't that be wonderful?
That would
Oh,
be great.
Hannah.
We should do that, Nick. Now that we have IMDb Pro,
Yeah.
we should reach
We,
out when we're rewatching. Maybe we can get. That's what we'll do. We'll me and Nick will reach out and see if we can get some of the gang back together and reassemble Avengers, unite the Avengers.
oh my God, honey, that would be fantastic. You're a little powerhouse. Well done.
Thank you. I try.
You're wonderful because I'm getting goosebumps right now, and I call it my radar, my Wanda Witch radar. But that would be so, I just felt like it never finished. And I
It was
think
left on
maybe
a
that's,
cliffhanger, and as a Wanda Simon fan from the comics, I was always hoping that you were going to choose Simon.
oh, well, we'll
I know
never
Vision is
know.
iconic. I know Vision is her iconic love to some people, but to me, because of the comics that I read growing up, Simon was always her true love to me
See,
personally.
I liked Simon's character. I liked where they were going with that. I thought, oh, this is fun. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Well,
But
he's
who
getting his own
knows?
show on Disney Plus this year. Simon has his own TV show coming out in December. So
Oh,
he's getting a resurgence because he's not been in the public eye for a long time. So maybe, I'm hoping as many people are going to fall in love with him as like I did when I was younger.
oh, honey, I don't know. I think these characters, their time has come again. I think we're living in a world where those characters need to come back. I think right now, with the way things are going in this world, we need something like that. We need those kind of storylines or those characters, and maybe expand on the stories now in a different way. But yeah.
Absolutely. Now, my mum doesn't always listen all the way through to the end of my podcast episodes, but she has promised because it's you. Now, if you don't know, Stravola is probably, I think that what people would maybe best know you from is actually that you have been in all three My Big Fat Greek Wedding movies.
Yes.
And
Yes.
as Athena, my mother and I grew up watching this movie together. It's one of her favorites, and she is so excited that you are on the show.
Oh,
And
how sweet.
wanted to know how you got involved in that project and what it was like to get to revisit that role, kind of as you have grown, have as you've you've grown up with that role a little bit.
Well, it was another one of those situations where they were looking for Nia Vardalos, the writer and creator of it. She wanted to give Greek actors first dibs on it. So her whole thing was, I want to find authentic Greek actors for this.
Hmm.
So they auditioned once again, a lot of different people, and then I walked in and I did my thing, and I got the part because of her. She had final say, if I'm not mistaken. And then the director was great. I really liked him on the first episode. For me, I had just, as I said, um, my father had passed away, and I was in a bit of a slump, and my agent had taken me off the availability list. I just needed some time, but they reached out to her and said, "Look, we'd like her to audition for this. We'd really like her to audition." And she explained the situation, and the casting director said, "Look, you don't get a chance like this every day. Ask her if she's interested." So they sent the script, and I really liked it. I thought it was funny, and so I auditioned. And we had three callbacks, me and Peter Panopoulos, who eventually ended up playing my husband. And so they brought the two of us back three times. Then finally we got the part. And on the set, the first day being on the set, um, it was like being in a family situation, like in a situation where you're going to see your family, and they're all Greek, and they're all loud, and they're all happy, and it was effortless once again. Everybody just fit in, and it was like, it wasn't work for me. It was one big party. And it also helped me through the loss of my father.
Mhm.
And I just
Yeah.
remember Michael Constantine saying to me, "Where's your father from?" And I told him, and he said, "Oh, well, are we going to meet him, And I said, "No, he's gone." And so he turned to me and he said, "Well, for the next 5 weeks, we are a family. I'm here for you." And then Nia was wonderful that way too. It was wonderful. It was one of those things where you don't know what you're creating is going to hit the jackpot, but you're just creating it because you love the work and you
Yeah.
love the people you're with. And the fact that it did so well was, the cherry on the ice cream or the cake, whatever. Cherry on the top, that's it. So it was a wonderful experience. And in terms of how the character grew, well, her family grew, that's for
Yes.
sure. I think uh, I think we got to see a little bit more of her. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff had to be cut out because of time. But in the original scripts, the last two, there were more interactions between Athena and her mother, and Athena and her sister,
Mhm.
Tula. And I loved that part of it. But people wanted comedy. They didn't want too much of a reality. They wanted
Mhm.
comedy. So I think a lot of those tender moments didn't really play well. But it was great. I really enjoyed it, and I'm proud of the work everybody's done.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's another thing like the Avengers, like Scarlet Witch. It's one of those rare moments that you realize is part of history, that you're making history and you don't know it at the time.
Yeah, because I think that what it was always so beautiful to me about it is how it's a romantic comedy, and sometimes romantic comedies can be like I cringe humor can sometimes set me off, but I think because it's so full of heart and so
Yeah.
true and real, and it feels very authentic to watch. I'm not Greek. Families all from Scotland and Ireland. But, I think that you really get a sense of this culture and of like these truly loving people with good intentions. And I think that that's what the heart of the movie is how well intentioned everybody is and like how much love is there. And I think that it makes you just root even more for the characters. And I think that's what I've always loved about the project.
Yeah, and you know what, honey, you have you've pinpointed it perfectly. It's very universal because it's about people, it's about family, and it's about love. And no matter what culture, no matter what ethnicity you are, family, food, that's it. It's family and food, and the two are interconnected, and it transcends all, borders.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you're Italian or Jewish or from Barbados. Everyone identified with it because it was a beautiful family. It was a story about a family,
Yeah.
and it was a story about a family growing up. I know it was set in the States, but it was a Canadian, American, Australian. It's all about the diaspora.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you said you're Scottish and Irish. That's almost Greek. You guys are very passionate people.
Yes.
So,
Every time I watch that movie, I want Greek food for sure.
well, you'll have to come to Greece, and if you come, I'll take you to some authentic places, obviously.
I'd love to. It's one Athens is actually one of my buck me and my his and my producer's fiance. That's our bucket list next city because we've done Italy and France. Greece is next on our bucket list.
Oh, you must come, and you must let me know, please. You're dealing with a Greek. You don't come to someone's house and not announce that you're coming. Like if I find out you're here and you didn't come and see me, there's trouble.
Absolutely.
But
I would have to bring you yourself in comic form. But yes, no, the Greek is we will have to come.
Yeah, I hope you do. Well, whenever you do, you let me know.
Of course. And now I think I have to ask, and you don't have to, but for the podcast, could you do Winds of Destiny change for us?
All right, let me just get into the character. Hold on a moment. Winds of Destiny, change.
Thank you so much. I feel like I just spoke to Wanda.
Oh, sweetheart, that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and for giving up your time to us. I can't tell you, like, I'm grinning from ear to ear. This has just been the most beautiful experience for me.
Oh, well, I have to say, same with me. You've touched me deeply and you've brought back some beautiful memories, and I'm feeling quite emotional right now that
Me too. I'm trying not to cry a little bit.
yeah, me too. I don't know what it was. Just saying those words, Winds of Destiny, put me back into a, a part of my personal history that was very magical and difficult at the same time, personally, for the loss that I had experienced, but brought back a nice feeling. So I thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And is there any place that our audience can find you, or any projects that you'd like our audience to check out of yours, or that we can link to at the bottom?
Yeah, actually, there's I did a beautiful series, and I say beautiful because of the people that I worked with and the people that I work that the series is based on. I did a series called Life in Ruins,
Hmm.
and I did it for TRT World out of Istanbul, and it was a series highlighting the work and the women who work as humanitarian aid workers on the front lines. And that to me has been a very personal project
Hmm.
because these are unsung heroes that we need and nobody knows about them. So that is something that I'm very proud of. And I've done a lot of other things. Oh, also AJ Eats is something, but that's as a director and a writer. But
Well, we will
yeah.
link to that because obviously here on the Wandaverse we do real life superheroes. So Stavroula has found us
Oh.
some more real life superheroes. So we will link to that, and we will make sure that you can find all of your beautiful work, and obviously just go and watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding and Vendors United They Stand. But honestly, it's been such an honor to have you. Welcome to the Wandaverse.
Thank you.
And we'll speak to you again soon.
Okay, thank you so much. I wish you continued success, and please just keep doing what you're doing. We need content like this. We need this right now. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that interview. I'm not going to gush again because I've gushed like every single time we've talked about this. But I have linked Stavroula's projects in the description of this episode wherever you are listening or watching. And, just make sure we show her all the love and respect that she deserves as our very first Wanda. I feel like this is kind of like a little bit of a Hall of Fame moment. I feel this is something really special. But yeah, that's the interview. Next week is Marvel Zombies.
Yeah.
Um Final predictions for Marvel Zombies before we
I
go.
don't honestly I don't know. I legitimately don't know because like I wasn't I wasn't a big fan of the What If show, really. I didn't think it was as bold as it could have been. Um, but I am looking forward to seeing if they can be bold. That's what I want. Like this is what the purpose of the multiverse, the purpose of having these animated shows and something like Marvel Zombies, which the comic is its own really weird thing. And I'm just hoping that this show goes as bold as I would like it to. So that's my thing.
Okay. My predictions, I can't tell you because y'all just could not stop spoiling me in the comments. So literally I don't have any organic predictions anymore. So eh. We'll be back next week. Stronger and better than ever, faster, if you will. With more news, more kick-ass stuff. And we'll probably do a little bit of rumor patrol next week. We didn't do it this week because, well, you guys are getting spoiled enough. You're spoiled enough as it is. But if you can't wait to hear more from us, I will be posting my reaction like immediately to Zombies after it posts because I want that algorithmic boost. on my TikTok, which is Into the Wonderverse, over on Instagram at The Wonderverse, Twitter, I will probably be live tweeting a little bit. The Wonderverse, everywhere, The Wonderverse. Please feel free to leave us comments, like the podcast, rate the podcast, do all those nice things. We read all your comments. You can send us fan mail. There is a link at the top of here that says fan mail. That just means you can send us an email. Let us know what you think. Give us your feedback. Tell us your thoughts on Marvel Zombies, and we'll read some of them out. Send us your reactions. And if you do want to send us a physical letter or anything, you can find our PO box in my bio. There's an address. That's where you can send any mail that you might have.
And as Hannah said, please rate and review us on podcasts and Spotify. I think you can do reviews on Spotify, and there are other podcast platforms where you can do rates and reviews as well. Really, really helps us out as the world's only Scarlet Witch podcast. I'm pretty sure we can say that.
We are one and only, baby.
In the meantime, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at The Film Nick, and Letterboxd at The Film Nick, where I'm currently working my way through some 1970s New Hollywood before we go into spooky season.
I've heard they're really depressing. Thank you so much to Lily for our artwork. You amaze us. You change everything. Everybody loves you. You're an icon. You're a legend. Keep doing what you're doing, babe. Melody Ray Griffiths is the music. And until I see you next time, stay magical. How about now?
Sure.
Okay. I was ready to get annoying there. Anyway,